Hi from me as
And
well.
today we would like to talk about a bit about trading plans and creating a trading plan and following a trading plan. Why we have chosen this topic is because it is, at least in my opinion, and soon Valerie will share his as well, that creating a trading plan and sticking to it is a crucial part in becoming a profitable trader. And a lot of people that get invested in trading and start learning about trading tend to miss that detail. They feel like they want to catch each move on the market, and from my experience, I can tell you that this won't work and you just lose your money. So one of the things beginner traders should focus on is creating a trading plan and sticking to it. If the trading plan is not fulfilling as you expect, just cut it loose and create a new one for the day after. And today we are going to show you a few steps on how to create actually quite an easy trading plan. We like to call it A to B trading plan. And it's pretty simple to follow, it's pretty simple to build, and it will be great for your career or starting your career as traders. Now, if Valu wants to add anything to...
I would like also to mention that whenever you're creating a trading plan, when we are telling you where we are telling you to follow it, it doesn't mean that you have to follow it specific and exact. You have to follow some signals, and if they're giving you confirmation that your plan is developing as what you're expecting, then you're following it strict. But if you have a mixed feeling or the signals are giving you the idea that probably this plan won't develop as what you are expecting, then you have to adjust your trade management and maybe cut the loser a bit earlier, or to take the profit a little bit before the target, because it's better to take some profit than to leave your position to go again on zero, or maybe even to a losing one.
Yeah, we won't get into a lot of details about trade management today because this is a very huge topic, and yeah, it needs a whole separate webinar for it. We will mainly focus, first of all, I want to say that both of us are swing traders. We like to trade the higher time frames, but since we are not making a webinar for 48 hours, we're going to focus on lower time frames today. We're going to open some trades. Those will be on demo account. I have to tell you that.
Yeah, here just wanted to mention that the demon accounts are for security measures. So if someone wants to see our real positions, you can always join our Telegram channel, and there you can see part of our free positions that we are posting. And of course, from the newsletter, you can have the full experience of all the trades that you're making.
Yeah. So the idea today, as I said, since we are swing traders, we are no strangers to intraday trading as well anyway. So we'll try to do the same thing which we do on the higher time frames, just on the lower time frames, and it usually is successful. At least for us, it's successful on the higher time frames. We'll see how successful it will be today on the lower time frames. One more thing that needs to be added here is that we are going to create trading plans, as I said, on lower time frames, but also one important thing, we will only focus on following the trend. I don't know if you guys know, if you're beginners, probably you have heard of it, but you're not that familiar with the topic. There are three types of trading. You can either follow the trend, so that's trend trading, yeah. You can counter trend, which is opening positions against the trend, and you can trade into a range. We are gonna focus only on following the trend today because that's the easiest way of trading, and we strongly recommend you, especially if you are a beginner, to focus on that first, master it, start being profitable by trading only by following the trend, and then start adding counter trend techniques and range trading techniques, as they are more advanced and harder to master and involve a bit higher risk.
Here I would like to mention just quickly what are the main advantages and disadvantages of those techniques. So if you're following the trend, obviously you're with a big move, so whenever you're opening a position with the main buyers or sellers, you have the better probability to be right. Actually, the contra trend, there is additional advantages as well. Because those people who are going against the trend, they're trying to catch the corrections, and those moves are always quicker. And in this way, you can extract profit very quick, maybe in one day, a huge profit if you catch correction on the short side. And for the range trading, here the main advantage is that you can replicate one and the same movement, and even sometimes you can, if you're an experienced trader, or of course if you have a little bit of luck, you can catch the movement on the long side and then on the short side a couple of times. So basically you can catch all the possible movements that are on this security. So if Ilian wants to start.
I think we said enough so far. So I suggest you can do a trading plan, to make a trading plan on some, we forgot to mention here that I am trading mainly Forex, so that's currency pairs. Value is specializing in indexes and commodities. And I will be trading Forex today, he will be trading Hsting, and maybe he can start by showing you how to make a simple trading plan following the trend course, and it will be basically an A to B trading plan. I can quickly explain what an A to B trading plan is, or if you want to talk about it when you do
Well, I have already one open position which I can show to the people because it's already very well developed. So on this position I'm going to show you the main basics of the trading plan because it's already built, and then I'll build a new one especially for you.
Okay, so let's see.
So the security in question is the metal palladium. Let me just adjust the graph so you can see it more properly. Yeah, so here maybe we should just can you give me 1 second? Maybe we should Ilya?
Yeah?
Here can we move this?
Those are mine.
Yeah, so because part of my trading plan is here, but okay, never mind. I'll talk you through like
just
this.
move the graph a bit.
Yeah, I'll do
to
it
the
like
left.
this. Yeah, so here, as you can see, this was the position and actually the action zone, like I like to call it, from which I started my initial plan. As you can see, if I zoom out a bit, this was after a long uptrend. So basically, what was main focus on to follow this trend. Here also, as you can see, that of course I have prepared a plan for both sides. Of course, I was looking mainly for to buy, but I was ready if I see a signal for that the price is giving me that it will go back down. I was ready to take actions as well. Here, as you can see, this was my entry point above this action zone. This is my lock profit area. As you can see, this is one of the resistance area, and this is B point where I'm actually collecting all of the profit. What you can see here is that the plan is developing very well. The only problem that I had is that I entered here on the level that I'm showing you now. As you can see, this is the arrow. Soon after this, the price made a correction, so I had to wait for 4 days in order to be on profit again. But then the main trend on the long side started, and for now I'm enjoying a very good position. I managed to lock most of my exposure here, move the stop loss on break even though it's not shown here. This is the original plan, and now I'm waiting for the price to reach point B, which is actually the the main target, and where I'm going to collect all of the exposure and all of the profit. Now let me just open one of the other products. Okay, this was one of my previous positions, so I'm going to try to make a plan especially for you now. Let me just delete some of the stuff. In the meantime, if William wants, he can say something about what he preferred to play on the markets.
Well, as I said, I focus mainly on currency pairs. Of course, from time to time I switch to other markets as well, but that's rarely, and my main goal is to just test a few things. I like to trade some commodities from time to time, like the gold or natural gas or oil. But overall, my main focus is on the currency pairs. And one other thing I would like to add here for beginners is that that actually is also for people that are a bit advanced in trading. You should focus on just a few currency pairs per week, so let's say 2 or 3, not more than that, because it gets overwhelming after that. So make your plan on 2-3 pairs which you think will happen this week, it will develop this week, and try to follow that plan and try to trade according to that plan. And as I said, for beginners, mainly focus on trading with the trend. You'll see a lot of schools or in a lot of books, people will be telling you the trend is your friend, and that's true.
Yeah, so now let me show you just an example of a trading plan. Here I should mention that this is going to be just an example, so you don't have to follow it straight, because during the price development we can see signals that might change it. So this is going to be just a quick example. You see this is the US index S&P 500. The chart time frame is daily because I prefer to trade on those on the higher time frames. Later I'll show it to you on a smaller time frame as well. So the first thing that I'm checking is where is the main trend. As you can see here from the graph, the main trend is on the long side. There was a correction, which I'm showing to you now with the mouse, and now the price is again rising. So the main plan here for me will be to find a way to either short it whenever it reaches this resistance area here, or if I see a signal and or maybe a consolidation, and if the buying pressure is strong enough, I would go for the continuation of this uptrend and attack a new all-time high. So the first thing that I'm making is to create a zone from where I'm going to take my decisions, and it will be somewhere around this area here. I suppose that the price will reach it soon enough. So let me just adjust the colors a little bit for you so you can see it better. Here, what I can tell you is that if the price reaches this level, in my opinion, this will mean that it will either start a correction again because it will reach this resistance, or maybe it will start a consolidation, which is going to be that which will mean that the price is making a pause, and it will continue with the uptrend. So from here I'll look either to go on the short side. Let me just put the arrow. So from here I will either go on the short side if the price reaches the resistance, and the first level where I'm going to lock profit is going to be the first stronger support, which is around the levels here, which I'm showing to you now. I'm going to make another line in order to see it more properly. So just give me 1 second. I'm not going to draw it perfectly in order not to wait for me, but it's going to look something like this. Let me just adjust the size. So yeah, this is going to be the line where I'm going to start thinking about collecting some profit, because if the price reaches this level and bounce up, it can leave me without any profit. So my first idea will be to collect 50 or maybe more from the 50% or maybe more from the initial exposure, and then to follow the price action. If I see that the selling pressure is higher and this level will be break, I would hold the rest floating exposure for further development of this trade. But if I see that the price is stopping here and probably there will be a bounce up, I'll wait for a proper confirmation that the price will continue on the long side. So from the floating exposure, I will collect as much as possible profit, maybe around the area here. Then there is another opportunity, and it is to go on the long side. So basically here is you have to wait and see if the price will start to make any consolidation here, and whenever it reaches this action zone, I'm going to try to draw it for you. It will probably look something like this, and then it will explode and continue on the long side. So here just have to adjust the graph a little bit. Just give me 1 second. The main idea will be to find a place to enter above this area. It will be better if we see that the price is testing this resistance, which is going to be a support at this time, and it will bounce up. In this way, we'll have a proper confirmation that the price will continue with this uptrend, and we can hold it until it reaches probably, in my opinion, the best guess will be the next round number. So let's say around this level here. My opinion is that whenever the price reaches a round number on the when it's going on the all-time high, this is going to be the level when where you should collect your profit. So if we put it like this, you can either collect 100% of your exposure here, or again close just a partial, move your stop loss on break even, and leave the floating exposure to develop. Another thing that you can put is to move your stop loss on profit. So in this way, whenever the price started to make a correction, you're going to be safe, and from the floating exposure you can collect a little bit more profit as well, and this will turn into a very good profit and good trade for you. If someone has a question, or maybe if Ilya wants to add something here.
It's your plan after all, it's not mine, so nothing I can add here. I think I have a nice opportunity here. Currently watching on the odd NSD currency pair. I don't know if you are seeing it. So let's see what we can do here. This is since you already did a daily plan, and we won't be following it today because
it was just an example.
Days,
it was just an example how to create one.
I'd like to make a short-term one so people can actually, try to follow it today, and then in the meantime you can look for something to do. So let's talk about A to B plans. Usually A to B trading plan is quite simple. It's basically 2 points. Let's say this is point A here, and here it's point B. Okay, I'm not drawing very nice, but still. So your idea would be for your plan, or for the pair, to reach from point A to point B. For this is an example, of course, of an uptrend plan, and if you're following the uptrend, and just a second, I'll delete that. And for the downtrend, it's basically the same from A to B again. Just a sec, because I don't know. Switching between screens a bit. So as I said, we are going to look for. Do you see it, guys? This on the full screen?
Not yet. Maybe it will.
That's strange. I don't know why it's not showing full screen in this.
In the meantime, what I can tell you is that why I'm going with the higher time frames is because whenever you have a signal on a higher time frame, it's definitely stronger, and it's definitely more sure that whenever you can see on the lower time frames. For example, if you see a trend stopping formation on a daily time frame, this would mean that probably here would start a correction. So for example, if the trend was on the long side, you can find, and of course you see that something on the graph is telling you that probably you will, the trend will stop there. What you can expect is that there will be at least one day or maybe more drop. So in this way you can try to find better entry point on a lower time frame, so you can catch most of this movement. Of course, some of it you're gonna miss because you wait, probably you wait for the proper confirmation, and then this is my chart again, just to let you know. And then you will be able to and then you'll be able to see what you can do for the future. For example, when you start your position on a lower time frame, you should wait and see for points when you can close it again on a lower time frame, because if you enter on 1 hour daily chart, you cannot put your stop loss or maybe your take profit on, let's say, for daily, because sometimes there will be some miscalculations which can take you out of the market. That's why whenever if you put your if you create your plan on, let's say, a daily time frame, then you should follow it on daily time frame. Just you can look for a better entry point on a lower time frame. And of course, if you see that the price is somewhere around your taking profit area, but there is let's say the point of the selling pressure, it depends on which side on the market you are, is exhausted, then you can check the lower time frame in order to find the correct spot to close your position and to collect as much as possible profit. What you can see now is that EVM chart is already working. So
yeah, always good now. So let's see first. Okay, let's move it a bit so you can see it better. Now we have our colleagues coming.
yeah.
So this is the sorry. This is the odd NSD currency pair. This is the 1 hour time frame. As I said, we are going to make a short-term trading plan here. First thing we can notice is that obviously the pair is in a downtrend at the moment. So let's just mark the waves that we can see. So we had this wave down here. After that we can see we had a small correction here, followed by sort of a consolidation and another wave down. And currently we can see that the price is retracing a bit up, so making another correction on the 1 hour. What is important for me to mark here is the previous bottom made by wave 1. So this is it. Currently the price is standing right there on it. Let me just change the color so you can see it better. Okay. Now what is this? So just a second. I will make it, let's say, green, red. Sorry, and a bit bigger. Yeah. So that's better. Now you can see that the price has now returned to the previous bottom formed by this wave down. Usually this is not just a level, it's a zone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to mark it like that. And what I will be expecting here is to see a bounce from that zone and again a move further down in direction of the overall trend. So this is the H1. This is basically here, this zone is our point A.
Maybe you can move, yeah, a little bit to the right. To the left, sorry.
Just a second, because okay. So this is our point A here. Let me move the A a bit so you can see it. Now, where will be point B? Usually, you can go back on the chart and see if we have a support area somewhere down below. In this case, we have to go too much back. That's why for a short-term trade, since I will be looking for an entry on M5, my first target would be the last bottom, which the price made. So this will be basically my point B right here. Let me just make it green, for example, as a support level, and B. Okay, so what I expect on this plan is to see the price move from here, this previous bottom, which should act as a resistance area, back to the last bottom or even further below. But of course, our main focus will be on point B, and after that, hopefully, the price will continue further down. Okay, so this is the H1 time frame plan. Let's move down to the M30. Usually it's good to take into account at least 3 time frames. This will give you an even better opportunity, a better view of the market. So it's good to consider M30 as well. In the meantime, this will be our middle time frame, so to say, because M5 will be our last time frame where we will look for a trade. Let me just delete a few of those arrows here. Okay, so we are looking for point A to point B. Now on M30 it's quite similar. Here we can actually make our this resistance area a bit better, fix it up a little bit so it's how to say it, it's more
Visible, maybe?
not visible but perfect, let's say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like that, this is the area. We can see that currently we are having some bullish momentum. The buyers are pressuring the pair, but as I said, our plan is to wait for a sell signal here and to look for a trade on M5. So I'll switch here to the M5 time frame. Let's see what we have there. A good thing here would be to maybe have sort of a consolidation and then a reversal or a break of a previous top on M5. This is our M5. Don't forget that we are currently in the zone, although the zone disappeared. Unfortunately, this platform tends to give that bug, but I like using it, so even with the bugs, it's fine. So on the M5, we can mark what we currently have. Let me just open, okay, the arrow 2. So we have this wave up here. I'll change the color of this so you can see it better. We have a small correction down here and another wave up so far here. So basically the previous top is on the M5 is here. Okay, yellow is not the perfect color for that.
Yeah, it's still visible.
Yeah, let's make it black. So either I will wait on the M5 for a break of this previous top, the price to go below, or to form some consolidation here, and try to open a trade. So now the patient game begins. We'll have to wait for a confirmation that the plan is starting to develop once again, and then open a new position here.
So here your idea will be just to look for a sell signal, I guess?
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's a sell plan. We have a downtrend.
So if you want, you can give some tips of what formation you'll be watching on the chart, or it will be just a break, maybe because people might be interested with it.
Well, it kind of really depends. I mean, I will be looking for, you know, maybe an engulfing on M30, or I will look for a break of the previous top on M5, which will be a confirmation of a reversal, or I will wait for a possible consolidation. It's basically a very small range, and a break of the bottom of this consolidation, which will again give me a signal, actually a confirmation that the current uptrend is finished and we will continue in the overall downtrend.
Okay.
If you have something to add, or maybe look for a plan to make
Yeah, I already found something interesting, which could be nice for the people to see it. It's on the German index DAX 30. What you can see here is that the chart time frame is 1 hour now. So this could develop into the next few hours. So whoever wants, you can follow it. The main idea, what I wanted to show you here is that it's actually strategy which I implement from Ilian. He's using it very often, and I start to use it, and it turns out to be very profitable. So this is the chart of the German index on 1 hour chart time frame, and as you can see, as soon as it's open today, it makes a huge positive gap. This is the zone here, which I'm showing to you with the mouse. And one of the ways that you can play this is that if you imagine that this is a square formation here, this is the trading hours for the day, you can go for a plan which is giving you the opportunity to short this security, even though it is on an uptrend, and to wait for it to fill the gap, and then to collect your profit on this support area here, which I'm going to mark for you now. Here it's going to be something very small, but nevertheless we were checking this strategy quite often, and it works most of the time for us. So you can try it, of course. So the main idea will be to look for this area here, which I'm marking for you now. Even if someone wants to play it more riskier, and if someone wants to bet that this is going to happen for sure, you can enter from here, even though the price is still into the box. Or the other way is to wait and see if the price is breaking this area here, and then to enter from a short position from here. So the main idea will be to be a very quick trade. The stop loss, of course, you can put it above this square formation which I drawn for you.
Yeah, but this is actually, sorry to interrupt, this is actually a counter trend trade.
Yeah, this is a counter trend, but I'm going to show an opportunity for a long trend later into the session. Yeah, so basically the idea here will be to put your stop loss maybe somewhere above this area here. Let me just change the color so you can see that it's a stop loss, so I'll put it red. And whenever you see that the selling pressure is increasing, I'm not sure that I can implement the volume indicator here, but for those of you who are familiar with it, as soon as you see that the volume is increasing, you can think of a opportunity to enter on the short side, and as soon as you see that there is a break of this level here, you can enter and just hold it till this area here. Of course, if the candlestick closes below this area but then started to rise back up and enters again between these borders here, you can close your position because there is opportunity to be losing, so there is no point to wait and hit your stop loss. You can minimize the risk and just close it a little bit earlier. I know that we are thinking to show you positions only with the trend, but this is a very interesting opportunity, so I decided to show it to you. Again, if you want to play it on the long side, there is another way. Let me just adjust a little bit the graph so I can draw it for you. Just give me a couple of seconds. In the meantime, Ilian may speak for something about these gap fillings, because it's a strategy that he is implementing very often.
Yeah, it's a technique that some people use, but it's quite complex technique. What I mean is that there are a lot of gaps. A gap, first to start with, is when the market closes at one price on Friday and opens on Monday on another price. So
it could be during like on
during the
chart.
week. If it's a market that closes that day, it can happen during the week. I'm strictly speaking about Forex because it's open from Monday to Friday. So usually gaps are seen after the market reopens back on Monday after the weekend. Although in Forex the gaps are not that huge, you can still take advantage of them when there is a nice gap, for example 20-30 pips maybe. And the idea is that usually the gaps tend to fill themselves, as Value said. So if we have a gap down, you can expect a short-term, uprising in the price just to fill the gap. Maybe after that the pair will continue further down, and you can exploit that every Monday. So that's like 4 positions per month for Forex. On indexes and commodities, there are a lot bigger gaps, but it's a bit more complex there, since not every time, as far as I know, not every time the gap is filled, at least not filled immediately. It might be filled in a month or a week or whatever, but you won't survive to wait for that long on your position. So
maybe it's not filling up to several days. You should abandon this plan. This is going to be the main idea. But the reason that I showed you this with filling the gap is due to the fact that if you try to implement a long trading strategy on this security, you should bear this in mind, because if you want to enter from here, it will be very hard for you to place your stop loss, because the main idea will be to place it somewhere around here, but it's very probable, if the price continues on the short side and fills the gap, to hit it, to stop here and then to continue. So what you can do here is, even though the index is open now, you just wait and be patient and just follow the price action, because if something like this happens, let me just put the arrow. So if we imagine that the price will fill the gap, we can see that it will probably reach this place here, and it can stop on this support area, which I drawn for you, which now is actually our action zone. So the main idea here is that maybe the price can make a consolidation here. Sorry, just let me do it for you again. So maybe the price can do the same consolidation here, whatever it did before, what I can show now with the mouse. So something like this. And if everything is looking bullish on the markets, we can see another explode on the long side. Here, in this case, the first level that we should bear in mind is the level which is formed from here. Give me just 1 second to mark it for you. Let me just change the color. So this is going to be the first resistance which the price will reach, and if the buying pressure is strong enough, probably it will break it very easy, because it's not something like a big level. Yeah, the price just opened, went up, and then started to drop. So in this case, we're just going to watch this level, and if we see that the price is struggling to break it, then we can collect some profit. Otherwise, we can just leave it and wait for further opportunity of this trade. If I draw it for you like this, I have to zoom out a bit. Give me just several seconds to adjust the graph so you can see it more properly. So in this case, let me just adjust this. Yeah, okay. So in this case, as you can see, the main entry point is placed on this previous resistance level, which now is acting as a support. I'm going to mark it for you. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it is on the levels here, which I'm showing to you now. So the main idea will be, if the price bounce up from here, this is going to be our next confirmation that we can continue on the long side. And as you can see here as well, there is another resistance which was around the level where the price was at this moment. So if we see a break on this level, we can wait for further development of this trade. So we can just hold it until we see a signal that the buying pressure is exhausted, and then to close. In the meantime, we can just move our stop loss, which in this particular case could be placed somewhere below this consolidation if it happens. I'm going to show it to you now. Let me just put it. So we can put it safely somewhere around this level here. Let me just adjust the color so you can see that it's a stop loss. Whenever we see that the price is making a new wave up, then a correction, we can move it in order to be safe from eventual unexpected drop, and in this way you can be covered that we're going to collect profit from this trade no matter what. Now if Ilya wants to add something to this plan, or he can continue with something else that he prepared for you.
I found a possible opportunity or another on another pair. It would be good to follow up a few, because we'll have to wait a bit, for them to develop. So the odd NSD pair, let me switch to it first, which we already made a plan on, is still standing. You can see the price still is standing inside the resistance area, so it still hasn't started moving down, and I'm still patiently waiting for a possible reversal and continuation of the overall downtrend. So we still have to wait here. Of course, if the price goes above that resistance area, I won't be trading on this plan. What I found is another possibility on the Great British Pound Japanese Yen currency pair. I've already marked a trend channel. So those are basically two trend lines that show where the trend is. You can see here, let me just move it a bit so you can see it better. You can see that on the H1 time frame, the GBP Japanese yen is in an uptrend. In the past hour, we are having some huge bearish pressure. The overall trend on this pair, actually on the daily time frame, is down, but we will be following the lower time frame, since our trades will be focused on the M5. So I will be following the current trend on the H1 for now, which is an uptrend. And as I said, I've marked this trend channel because what I expect is for the price to bounce from the bottom trend line, so somewhere from here, and possibly reach back to the upper trend line. So let me just mark it with an arrow, so somewhere to maybe here. So this will be again our A to B plan. We have A here. Sorry, just to mark it. It's a bit big. Okay, so this is only A. Here, and we will have our possible B point somewhere here. Let me just check now if our point B aligns with any possible resistance zones where the price might, the trend might stop again. So, zoom out a bit on this chart. What I see is, from the first look, is, let me mark it. We'll use the rectangle here. So we have a previous support now turned into a resistance somewhere here, like that. Okay, so changing the colors to red for a resistance, of course. So this will be actually our point B, where we expect the price to reach, somewhere here. Now again, I can move down to M30 time frame, see how the price is developing there. You can see that the price once already reached close to that resistance area, so we might have another wave up to there. Of course, we'll have to wait for a possible bounce here somewhere. You can see that we had a short consolidation there before on the M30, right somewhere here. Just mark it. Okay. So
here, just a
yeah.
quick question. Did you mention that in this way they can use the bottom line of the trend line as a support? Because in this way you can easily follow whenever the price is making consolidation. If it is close to the bottom line of the trend line, this could be like a double confirmation, at least in my opinion, that the price could bounce up.
Yeah, most definitely. So what will I be waiting here is basically a bounce from both this small support, so to say. It's marked by the previous consolidation, and at the same time bounce from the up trend line. So switching on to M5 here, let's see what we have there. Okay, so we can see the price went close to that
at least
zone.
This time the zones
Almost
are still there.
At
least this time the zones are still there.
No, the resistance zone over here is not there, but still we know where it is because of the B.
Okay.
Anyway,
fair enough.
So what I will be waiting here is for this downtrend on the M5 to basically reverse. We might have a bullish engulfing here, which would be a signal for a possible entry. But let's see, let's wait a few minutes and see how the price develops. I've unzoomed the graph just to check the odd NSD. It still remains inside the zone. The new 1 hour candle just opened, the new M30 candle just opened, so it would be an interesting development in the next probably 30 minutes. I'll zoom back the, I don't know why this is not going back.
Maybe you should click on the black part of the menu, or maybe not.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, so this platform has some bugs in it. Let me say, it's not the best.
Yeah, but it's a good way to make your drawings on the charts because it has everything that you need, and it's very easily accessible. Of course, it has some bugs, but there is, at least in the trading world, there is nothing which is working without bugs. Before I was trading with different variety of platforms, and some of them were very expensive, but even though sometimes you're not seeing the things properly, or they just don't work properly, so this is part of the business, you have to adjust to it, because this is some part of the additional risk that you have. You cannot blame the platform, because if it bugs, you just have to adjust about it. Because if you start blaming it, this would affect your trade management. So in this way, you won't be focused enough, and you won't be how to say your view will not be clear on the markets. So that's why you just have to, if I can say it like this, adjust to the problems and to the bad situations. Maybe you can collect some, you can close some positions on a small loss if you are not able to manage them, or if they're on a profit, but again you're not able to manage them, you can collect the profit a little bit earlier in order to have better control over the situations, because sometimes if something bugs and you don't have access to it, it could lead to very bad situations, and of course in this case losses. So you have to be careful with this, and you have to bear it in mind, because a lot of the losing trades will be somehow related to some platform bugs. So my advice is here is just to bear it in mind and fight for it, fight against it with all the possible actions that you can take. Here, as I can see, Ilian already opened his.
No, I'm just trying to because investing refreshed.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure, but I think we lost our plans. So I will just quickly redo them while you show some stuff. Maybe.
Here, if people want, I can just drop down my trading platform, so we can actually try to play the DAX trade that I showed you earlier. Let me just see if you can see everything properly. I think you do. Let me to adjust the graph a little bit. Yeah, so because this is the future, the graph doesn't look exactly the same on what I showed you on the previous chart, but this is an advice for you that I wanted to give you. You have to imagine that some of the levels are the same, because they actually are, but they just look different. So the main support is up to here. This is the level from where I told you that if the price bounce up, we can enter into a long position. This is the square that I drew for you in order to see how we can play it trend contrarian. For now, we don't have the opportunity to enter into a long position, but I think we have the opportunity to enter into a short position, even though it is against the trend. So I'll just let me just see when this candle is closing. Yeah, so it is in 55 minutes. So maybe the better plan will be to see if this candle closes red, or if it stays green. Here, what I can show you.
The better plan, in my opinion, would be to go to M5. Because
I will do
it
this
will be
in
too
a
much
minute.
waiting for a candle to close.
Let me just zoom in a bit because I wanted to show something. So the reason why I showed you this is that let me just okay, so it's working. As you can see, there is a huge green candle, doji drop, but the selling pressure looks that it is exhausting. So if we see a green candle that is engulfing this red one, we can safely enter for a quick trade on the long side, and we can buy the security here. This is going to be our first resistance area, where we can observe and take actions if we need to, and if we want to make the trade really quick, we can put our stop loss just below this area, And of course, if the candle stays red like this, we can enter into a short position and hold it to see if it's going to reach our target, which is going to be somewhere on this support level. But Ilian here is perfectly right that we have to go on M5, but first I'm going to switch to M15 in order to observe it there as well. So yeah, as you can see here, the trend looks exhausted. So this is the first wave up, and now it looks that if this level is broken, we can observe a wave on the short side, maybe up to this level here. So I can wait because this is going to close in 8 minutes, and if it stays like this, I can enter into a short position. In the meanwhile, maybe Ilian is almost ready.
I'm still waiting for it. It's kind of slow. I mean,
yeah, when you're streaming and we are mirroring a couple of computers, there is always situations like this. But this is why I told you that it is important to adjust to the situations. Here about the risk management strategy, I can tell you that if you're going, I already mentioned this, against the trend, your trade is less probable to be profitable. But of course, if you go with the trend, but the formation is not showing this on the graph, again you have the same chance to lose. So that's why you have to follow mainly the price action, because it is very honest. It won't lie to you, and most of the time, of course. So in this way, you can confirm your plans and just trade what you see and not trade what you expect. Here I see that Ian is already open his graph. So are we
well,
going to
I'm making
rebuild?
again the plan itself for the odd NSD because we lost the previous one, unfortunately.
If you want, you can speak it through again while you're remaking them for the people to, if they miss something.
That just joined.
Yeah.
So, as I previously said, again we are looking at the H1 time frame of the odd NSD currency pair. And we can see that obviously the pair is moving into a downtrend here. We had, as I said, a small correction up to here, then a consolidation formed. So this can be marked as a consolidation and a new wave down. And currently, again, the pair is moving up and is standing right at the previous bottom of this wave. So, as I said, we will mark this zone here as a resistance zone on H1, and I will be expecting, oh, let's do it like a bit down, okay. I will be expecting for, as I said, the pair to bounce, so basically not to break this resistance zone and to move back down. To move back down probably to the last bottom down here, maybe even further below, but our initial target would be this previous bottom here. So this is again our A to B plan. So let me just mark again the A and the B, and maybe we'll soon have an entry here. I'm currently unable to watch the other pair, but I will reopen it as well. Let's see. Okay, so we have A to B. We expect the pair to move down from point A or from the resistance area back to the previous bottom. This is our H1 plan, of course, and I will switch back down to, let's see, M15 because it's a bit lower time frame than the M30, and it can actually give us a better, so to say, opportunity. So what we see here is that the price entered into the resistance area. We had some bearish pressure, and now we'll see what will happen on this candle. What I want to mark here is the previous top of the M15 of the previous wave. I'll make it some other color just to align it better. So this is basically the previous top somewhere here. So if we see a break of this top, this will be a confirmation of the bounce itself, and I would expect for the price to move further down. Let me just change the color, and now we can go to the M5, where we can wait for a move down.
If you want, you can switch to my screen now, because we have 3 minutes until this candle closes. But as you can see already, it is breaking this support level here, so we can either wait to play it safe and wait those 2.5 minutes. You can see them here, or maybe you just don't, because it's behind Ilian's computer, but they're 2.5 minutes. Or of course we can sell it a little bit early. In order to be perfectly following the plan, I'll wait until there is at least 1 minute. So because sometimes the selling pressure is strong enough in order to lie to you that this is going to be a break, but in the last minute or so the buyers are pushing the price, so it turns out to be a freight breakout. So you're already into a position which is not looking very good for you. So that's why I have a advice for you. If you have a plan, and if it's containing this that a certain candle should close in order to have a proper confirmation, it's better to wait for it instead of go followed by your emotions in order to enter earlier, because sometimes this could lead to very bad losses, because there is nothing which can interrupt worse with the trader decision making, nothing worse than the emotions. So you have to always follow your plan and look at it straight. So here we have 1 minute now, so we are in the end game, if I can see it like this. During this time we have to make a decision, should we enter into this position or not. What I can tell you here is that probably I'm going to put my stop loss somewhere around 12,416, maybe, just a very quick one, and my target will be around 12,382. Sorry. So we have 33 seconds more. As you can see, the price for now is looking in our favor, so we should prepare. As you can see, I'm just going to put the smallest sizes possible, and if you hit the sell button, you're going to enter into a position. I'm sure that most of you know this, so there is only 10 seconds, so I'm just going to act. I'm hitting the, oh sorry, what is this? Quick trade mode. Okay, I understand. So I understand. Except let's get in. Yay, we are in position. So as you can see, that's our entry point, and now we can close our stop loss and our profit. So let's say we can just close some additional window. So our take profit, and there is another red line which is marking our stop loss. Again, I should say to you that those plans are strictly experimental. We can so I have a task that and apparently the sound was not on in the last 2-3 minutes. So what I did was to enter into a short position here. As you can see, this red candle closes below this support area, and we put our stop loss around here, and this is our target. Here I should mention that those trades are strictly experimental, so we are just following the quick view of the quick wave on the markets, and we are trying to take advantage from them. And, that's why we are doing it from our demo accounts in order just to show you the action. It's not necessary to be profitable, but if it's a losing trade, you can take it as a lesson, and we can still discuss it and see what went wrong. And of course, if it's a profitable, we can still going to discuss it and just talk about how we managed to, in this case, beat for a very small time the market and extract profit from it. Now, if Ilian wants to add something about his position, because I've seen that he opens his platform as well.
Nothing new to add. It's actually a game of patience. So if you want to get involved with trading, you should be a patient individual.
Yeah, you definitely
because
should be.
Sometimes you have to wait for maybe even a few hours just for your plan to start developing, and of course to open a new trade. I've opened the GBP Japanese yen plan on the platform just to see. I know where we are there. It seems that we might see a break of the trend channel we drew there. This would be a good opportunity for a sell trade, but we already did a short-term trading plan for a buy trade if the price remains inside the trend channel. So I won't be selling, although it would be a good move, especially if you are aiming to open a swing trade maybe, because on the higher time frames, so H4 or daily time frame, the overall trend is down. So a break of the H1 trend channel is actually a confirmation that the H1 uptrend has finished and a new downtrend will begin, which could be more powered up, so to say, by the higher time frames where we actually have a downtrend.
Maybe here, sorry to interrupt, we can also discuss the thing that we are discussing actually with you very often, that how the different time frames are stopping the trends on the actually smaller or higher time frames. If you want, we can just briefly discuss this with our audience, because it's something very important, and in the beginning I was not paying attention to it very well, so it caused me some losses, but after we discussed it with Ilian, I start to follow it very strict, and this improves my winning trades a lot. So maybe now he can explain to you a little bit in more details.
You're talking about, in this case, about support and resistance areas?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, the idea basically is quite simple, and if you're a beginner trader, it can be really helpful for you. Basically, a resistance area on a higher time frame. So let's give it an example. A resistance area on an H4 time frame usually stops the overall trends on the lower time frame. So if you have a resistance area on H4, if you switch down to, let's say, M30, you'll see that you have been into a very long, uptrend on M30, and a possible reversal of the M30 trend might happen when the H4 resistance is reached, and this actually gives you a better opportunity to enter, because obviously, yeah, the H4 uptrend will also stop on that resistance and it will continue with the overall downtrend, let's say. But it will take you some time to jump in with a trade. I mean, you will have to wait for an H4 candle to close in order to verify that bounce from the resistance and then enter. But you can safely enter on M30 a lot earlier, because the trend there already reversed and it started moving down. And the same goes for basically for a support area.
Yeah, it's just upside down.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can follow this because no matter on which time frame you're following a certain trend, there will be always something which can stop it. So if you're playing a trend follower, you should pay a lot of attention to these levels. I'm telling you this because there is a lot of people who are putting very well their stop loss, but their targets are way too optimistic. So I don't know, sometimes people are greedy, sometimes they're just don't watching the market straight. In this way you can enter into a very good position and it could develop very good for you, but in the end you can end without collecting any profit from it, just because you weren't able to put your target at the proper level. So what I can tell you here is that you should pay attention to the closest resistance area, and in this way just to focus on it. You don't have to close everything there, but just follow it, because if the price make a reaction there, probably this means something. So you have to be ready to adjust and collect some profit if needed, or just to wait for a confirmation that this trend will continue. So this is something which you can use if you're a trend follower.
Yep. That is, of course, if you are using support and resistance areas, but as far as I know, most traders use them.
Yeah.
I like to use them.
They are the most popular tool which you can use. So
yeah. What else to add here? So basically, what you've learned so far, let's just make a quick recap on what we put you through, so to say. So basically, for a beginner trader, what we propose is the following. Try to always follow the trend, at least at the beginning, until you learn to be profitable by following the trend. Because if you are following the trend, it would be easier for your trades to be profitable. So focus on that, follow the trend. After that, this is your main requirement, so to say.
the basis on, what you're going to place.
To build everything.
Plans, yeah.
Yeah. So after that, after you determine the trend on a higher time frame, you can go to a lower time frame and determine a trading plan. So a point A to point B trading plan is the easiest one to follow. It's basically you expect the price to reach from one point to another. It's good for this plan to be with the trend. So if, for example, like I'm watching the odd NSD, which is going down on the H1, my trading plan is still to look for opportunities to sell from point A to point B, again down. I'm not looking for any buy opportunities. I won't be opening buy trades on that plan. And I advise you to do the same, because people tend to, try to catch every move. Now, okay, he will sell here because he sees the downtrend, but as soon as the price starts to reverse a bit, maybe entering in a correction, he'll say, okay, I'll close my sell trade, I'll open a buy trade, and usually that buy trade will be a bust, because his overall trading plan is to sell the pair, and he has to do only that. Of course, if the plan doesn't develop as you expect, you just don't trade on it and make another plan, or you start looking at another currency pair. So this is the second advice, so to say, from us. Make an A to B plan on the time frame you feel comfortable trading. And then the last thing is, of course, entering and managing your position. We won't be talking about that today, but you can use either the time frame you've made the plan on to enter, or if you want a more precise entry with smaller stop loss, you know, to try to extract and maximize the profits, you can go on even a lower time frame and you know, look for a reversal pattern there, or like, for example, a break of a previous top, or a consolidation and a break of the bottom of consolidation. Of course, if you're looking for sell opportunities, like we are on the odd NSD now. So those
here,
are...
Yeah, just sorry to interrupt. A very good example for this, what you just said, is my current trade on the German index DAX 30. If we can just show the graph, what you can see here is that even though this candle break the support level and the other one started to drop very rapidly, I don't know if you can see properly this tail here, the buying pressure is pushing the price a little bit up. So if this closes like this could be a sign of for us that the price might start to rise. So that's why Ilian was telling you never to go against the big trend. Here I decided to do this because the actual security opens a little bit higher. So due to this gap, I decided to risk a little bit more and to go on the short side, just because the smaller trend was starting and forming here. Of course, there is nothing certain. There is still 1 minute and 40 seconds until this candle closes, so it could either goes up or just the sellers could push it down. And even if it closes like this, it can still continue on the downside. But this is why you have to bear in mind that always the bigger trend is stronger. So don't play it followed by your emotions and just to try to catch every movement. Just try to go with the main trend, because in this way you will be most of the time profitable, instead just from time to time to catch very quick and excited movements against the trend. Still, we are going to follow this. We are going to follow the trend, the trade and the plan that I made, no matter what, and see what's going to be the outcome from it. Here, if Ilian wants to add something.
I just want to say that currently I'm watching the odd NSD.
So you're not paying attention to my one?
No, I was paying attention to it. I just wanted to show to people that on the odd NSD, actually you can see here how the movement slowed down. You can see how it's moving. Yeah, currently we are having some bullish candle here. This is due to the US market open
Yep.
just now. So
It's actually that's the pre.
Yeah. You can see that already the candle was pushed down, so you can see how the price remains inside this resistance area and the overall uptrend slowed down. So this is what I call a consolidation. Pascal would call it a pause.
Yeah.
So the market is pausing and will decide when to go in a bit.
For the people that don't know, Pascal is the founder of the firm. You can find it in the French part of the firm. He's leading all the free lessons there and everything. And he gave us the opportunity to develop this firm and to work here. So if someone of you wants to get familiar with the French branch of the firm, they can contact with us and we'll give them the needed information.
Okay, in the meantime, I just marked the consolidation zone here on M5 time frame with those blue lines. I hope you see them well. So now what I would expect, the perfect scenario here would be a break of the bottom of this consolidation and simultaneously a break of this yellow line, which is our M15 previous top. You can see now the price again is being pushed up, but I don't expect for it to go about the overall H1 resistance area. So even if we see on the M5, a small upswing here above the resistance area, this doesn't mean that this area is broken because the H1 candle is still running. So we might quickly see a retrace back inside in that area here on the M5. Still the price currently remains in the consolidation. Again, patience is our game here. I will be waiting for a break of the bottom of this consolidation in order to enter into a position. Just to switch to the GBP Japanese yen, although on the H1 there I've noticed that our uptrend channel was broken, still the price reached small support here, and we can see that we are already having a reaction there. This is the M30 actually time frame. I'll switch to the M5. I just want to show you that a small, maybe we'll have an opportunity to open a small trade here. If the price remains like that, so it forms another consolidation and the top of this consolidation is broken, I am inclined to enter into a position. I expect for the price to return back up to this consolidation here. You can see this small range before, which happened just before this downtrend wave. So I would wait for this candle to either go a bit up and close somewhere above. You can see we have a green candle here. This can be counted as a previous bottom. So I'll wait for a break of this previous bottom and then enter for a short, for a very short trade.
In the meantime, if you can switch on my chart, what we can saw that the price just hit my stop loss right around here. You can see it.
Never enter against the trend.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to show more action, to the people. So this is the thing. What we're telling you with Ilian from the beginning is that you should never enter against the trend. Even though here everything was looking very good, while this candle was red, I was actually feeling very comfortable that the price might reach my target here. Then, as you can see, in the middle of the candle, the buying pressure started to push the price up. It told us like this, and then the next impulse reaches very quick our stop loss. This doesn't mean that this downtrend could not continue on the short side. That's why I told you that those trades are strictly experimental. In real-time conditions, probably I would never took such a trade, or maybe I should wait for another confirmation. But the main thing here is that now we have the opportunity to discuss what went wrong, and it is that even though the price give us signals that the support level was broken and the price is continuing on the short side, we should always watch for the price action. Here, maybe one of the better solutions would be whenever I saw that this candle is closing green like this, I could have take it as a trend reversal and just to close the position here in order to minimize as much as possible the loss. Of course, here the whole trade was very small, so we didn't lose anything, and of course we were not going to be, we was not going to have so much big of a profit. The main idea here was to discuss now how and to show you how the situations on the market are flipping very quick. So that's why you have to follow them no matter what. Maybe if you want to play positions and to have trades in the meantime, when you're working or when you're doing something else, the better opportunity for you would be to go for higher time frames and swing trades, because in this way you can allow to yourself to open a position and then not to watch it for several hours. Because if you have a daily position and your idea is to, let's say, close it in several days, a couple of hours of not following the position exactly are not going to matter that much. Of course, you have to follow the news, because if there's some important news during this time, this could affect your trade in a bad way, and some spikes can take you out of the market. But nevertheless, if the market is calm and there are no important news and let's say interstate decisions and stuff like this, you can allow to yourself to not to watch your position for several hours, do something else. Of course, it's always good to have an application on your phone just to check it from time to time. But yeah, as I told you, if you're not going to be focused on your trades all the time, you have to go for higher time frames and swing positions. If you want to scalp or to take quick trades, you just have to follow them all the time, no matter what.
I've just switched to the H1 time frame again because we have some explosion on the odd NSD currency pair. The price moved above the resistance area from where I expected a bounce. Of course, there is like around 22-23 minutes until the H1 candle closes, so we might see actually that we might actually have a fake out on the M5 and the price might retrace back below that resistance area on H1, which could be a nice indication that a bounce will be actually observed. You can see that already we are having some pressure from the bears on this M5 candle. I'll wait on the M5, and even if the price, as I already explained, even if the price closes above that resistance area, that doesn't mean that the resistance area was broken, since it's an H1 resistance, and this on the M5 can actually be just a fake out. So if here we see a close of this M5 candle above the resistance area and the next retraces back inside the resistance, or one of the next before the H1 candle closes, I'll consider that a fake out, and this could actually give us an opportunity to enter, because if the H1 candle closes below or inside the resistance area, I expect to see a continuation of the overall downtrend in the next hour or so. Not a lot of opportunity so far to trade today. Value took one, which was actually a counter trend trade. I am also watching the GBP Japanese yen, but so far there we had some push from the bulls here, as you can see, but overall the previous bottom is not yet broken, so I cannot take a buy trade here. So maybe today was more of a, so far is more of a educational webinar. If you have any questions, drop them in the live chat and we'll be more than happy to answer them. And maybe next week we can do a trading, entirely trading session webinar.
Yeah, of course.
Which can take a lot more time. I mean, we won't be talking during that webinar. We'll just open.
Or we can just give comments while we are trading. The thing which I can add here is that if you have suggestions for topics or whatever you like, you can just write to us, and we can make webinars, we can make educational videos, so whatever you like, we are here for you, and we are going to provide content for you. So if you have suggestions, just write on the comments below the videos, type on us during this webinar if you want, or just send us an email. You can find all the contacts that you need on our website, and we are going to try to make everything to be everything on what's on our powers to fulfill all of your wishes. And here I think you're going to say.
I'd like $1 million if you're fulfilling wishes. So
yeah, this is possible. Just sign for my coaching and
okay, so we are gonna stay up for a bit more just to see the OpenSD maybe developing and if we will be able to take a position. What I meant by making a trading session webinar is that we can start the live webinar earlier in the day and just leave it running for the whole day, and in the meantime look for positions. We won't be talking during that webinar because I don't know if we can talk for a whole day without stopping. That would be quite hard. I mean,
it's going to be impossible.
yeah. So, but we will have a live chat on it, so you can ask questions. What are we selling, or what are we buying, or why are we doing that, etc., etc. And the main point will be just to because now in the period of an hour and a half, 2 hours, which we have now.
Yeah.
There are not many positions, not many possibilities to open a trade. Unfortunately, sometimes there are, sometimes there
And
aren't.
of course, as you can see, you might have an opportunity to enter in both of your plans, but we'll still have to wait some time, and that's why we wanted to make a live webinar for the whole day, so you can observe all of the positions, and in this way we can provide you with the content, which is not going to be experimental. We're going to trade to your positions, and of course, if you want, you can follow them. Everything is completely for free. You can make some money based on our plans, but when we are trading for the whole day, we'll have the opportunity to wait for the perfect entry point and not to take rush actions. Just to develop, just to wait, and then to take actions on a plan which we actually believe it's going to develop very well for us. It's not going to be experimental.
So we've got about 15 minutes until the H1 candle closes on my OpenSD plan. However, if it closes above the resistance, as I said, I won't be taking any positions on this plan. If we see a retracement in those 15 minutes, that would be great. We can take a position and see how it develops. During that time, as Valu said, ask us anything. We'll try to help you. We'll try to explain it. If you're interested in something, if you want us to do, let's say, a live trading plan right now on a pair or a commodity or index you like and would like to trade, or you already have a plan on it, but you just want to see our point of view for it.
Yeah, of course, you can ask us, and we'll
drop a message in the live chat, and we'll do it right away. So
maybe here we can talk a little bit more about what could be the differences between the commodity trader and the forex trader. The first thing that needs to be mentioned is that the lack of liquidity. So if you're a commodity trader and you're trading something like let's say corn, wheat, or some of the exotic metals like palladium or whatever it is, you have to follow what's going to be the liquidity, because sometimes if you put your stop loss on a level which you think it's good enough, there might be not real orders there, so the price could drop very quick in between certain level of price, and it could hit your stop loss unnecessary. So that's why you should follow the what's the liquidity, and be more careful, and of course in such positions you have to give them more room to develop. Also, the spread is quite different, so you have to bear this in mind as well. If you're trading forex, the spread is almost it doesn't matter, but in some of the exotic commodities like Actually, the natural gas is not that exotic, but still most of the time the spread is quite huge. So
Yeah.
if you trading this, you can enter from a price which is actually into the middle of your range or into the middle of your trading plan. So you have to be careful with this as well, because sometimes even though your plan is well prepared, bad entry point due to the spread could cause you bad losses, or it could make you to put stop loss on a proper level, but very big for your bankroll. So that's why you have to follow this stuff as well. And of course, if you have any questions about them, you can also drop us a question about them as well. We have free lessons for beginners. They are all on our YouTube channel. So if you want to get familiar with some of the basic rules about the trading, you can check them as well. In my opinion, they are very useful if you're a beginner trader. They're giving you the basic knowledge. After finishing this course, you have the basic idea how to trade, how to manage your positions, and how to adjust the risk according to a bankroll. So maybe it's a good idea to check them as well. Here, if Ian wants to add something.
I was actually going to, while we wait for some development, first of all, I'm watching also the GBP Japanese yen. I've marked the previous bottom on the M5 time frame. So I'm waiting for a break. You can see this red line is the previous bottom. I'm waiting for a break of it and a possible move further up. In the meantime, let's just check the odd NSD, which on the M5 is now above the resistance area, but there are still 11 minutes until the H1 candle closes, and if the H1 candle closes inside or below the resistance, this can be we can expect a continuation of the downtrend after that. However, what I wanted to show you is a good example. Since Value mentioned that we are posting a lot of videos, a lot of educational videos on YouTube, we are also posting a lot of trading plans, almost every week at least one, which you can follow completely for free. You can enter based on those plans, of course, however you decide, or you can join us in our Telegram channel, which again is completely free, where we post signals, live signals based on those plans. I just wanted to show you one of my plans. It was from last week. I wanted to show it to you because it's kind of an A to B trading plan. So and it was a short-term trading plan. I made it on the 1 hour time frame, and the idea for it was to try and extract profit of the market with intraday trades. Just waiting for it to load up fully. Okay, so now I think it's okay. This was on the Euro-Japanese yen currency pair, and what I was expecting here to see is continuation of the overall downtrend. We can see that the price reached close to this resistance zone up here, and I was expecting this overall uptrend on the H1 to be finished quite soon, and for us to see a downtrend forming. You can see that the price has entered into this consolidation between this previous H1 top here, marked with this green line, and the resistance zone up here. So I was going to wait for a possible break of the bottom of this consolidation and continuation down either to this zone here, which we can see that a few times the price bounced from it, even back here a few times, or even further below back to this last bottom made by this downtrend here. This was one of my scenarios, so a break here, this is our point A, and this would be our final point B down here. Or the other scenario was to see another swing up, a very small one, to reach the resistance zone, which would be our point A, and then our point B1, so to say, would be here on this small support area, and point B2 again will be down here. Let's see how the plan developed. You can see that shortly after I posted, the price went below the previous top and the bottom of this consolidation, and this would be our point A, and this would be our, at least my entry. You can see that quite quickly after that the price moved down, it went below this small support, then we had a small correction which actually stopped on that support. It turned, you know, a support, when a support is broken it turns into a resistance, and vice versa, when a resistance is broken it turns into a support. So we had a small correction to this downtrend wave here, back to that broken support, which turned into a resistance, and then we had another strong wave down, reaching exactly to where I expected it to reach. So even on the H1 time frame, actually this is H4 time frame, sorry, not the H1, but the idea was to trade this on the M30, M15, if you like H1, maybe even M5 if you want to be a very, you know, short-term trader.
Or just to enter very precisely, or to close the trade very precisely?
I don't really like the M5 because there is a lot of noise there, and if your stop loss is quite tight, it might be easily touched. But I would have entered on the H4 right here at the break on this candle, and then I would have watched for M30 opportunities during this whole wave, because the overall plan is for the price to reach from A to B, but in the meantime we can open a few positions, not just one at point A. So
yeah, you can open multiple positions during the whole movement, because in this time if the trend on, let's say, daily is going down, but there are a couple of corrections on 4-hour or 1-hour chart time frame, you can try to catch every wave on the downside. In this way you can increase your profit. So this is a strategy which you can follow. Something interesting, just for a quick move I can show you. You're going to enter into position now or not?
no, not for now.
Okay,
Still
so I will just wanted to show something. That's why I told you that those trends are strictly experimental, because if I was more careful and put my stop loss a little bit more carefully, actually this might hit my stop loss just for a few pips. I'm not exactly sure on this chart, but as you can see now there is a huge red candle, so this downtrend could continue. That's why I'm telling you that if you're trading on a smaller time frame, sometimes it's more dangerous, because they're giving you fake signals, and as you can see you could be losing from a trading plan that in the end could be profitable. This why if you are going to base your plans on a smaller time frame, you might be you might need to open multiple positions till you actually reach the perfect formation on the chart, and you manage to go with the selling pressure or with the buying pressure in order to catch the proper wave. If you can
I'm just watching what is happening here. There are just like 5 minutes left until the H1 candle closes on the OTNSD. Now it seems that it will break the resistance area, so I won't be following the plan I already did here. On the GBP, Japanese yen, the movements are kind of slow. We still haven't broken above that previous bottom, so again I won't be taking any positions here. There are a few trading plans which I am following more long term. On the USD Swiss franc, I'm actually selling it from 2 weeks ago, I think,
Yeah,
and
I think
it's
it was
generating some nice profits. Actually, there We had a great opportunity on the H4 yesterday when an uptrend line was broken, and from that point it just entered into a free fall so far. And also I'm following up on the Euro-Japanese yen again, but it's a we're having a double bottom being formed, actually a W formation being formed on the daily graph there. So we might see a continuation of the uptrend, actually a reversal and the formation of an uptrend, because we were at a downtrend until now. But those are just those are trading plans I've sent to our clients for our newsletter. If you're interested in what our newsletter is, it's basically how to say it, a Word document in which we share our trading plans for this week
and present them in a way with a very quick text and explanation what you can expect. Of course, we are supporting all the documents with charts, and the text is based on those charts, so you can have the idea what you're going to follow, and then based on this you can follow the live signals that we are posting. We are in a closed group just for our subscribers, and of course if you want you can play them differently. We have one of our subscribers which sometimes is playing the plans with different entry points and different taking profit targets, which are feeling better for his trading strategy, and up to this point he's very profitable, and we are happy to say that we have very good communication with him. So if you want to join our group and to join our trading community, we can do it, of course, throughout our website, and all the information that you need is there. As I can see now, Ilian is watching one of his positions on the trading platform.
Yeah, the GBP Japanese yen, but I don't think it will break, at least for now, the previous bottom. So we'll see about that. Of course, there is like a minute or so until the H1 candle closes. Actually, minute and a half. On the NSD, still the price is above the resistance area. There is some pressure from the bears, but I don't know if they will be able to push it back down all the way somewhere here in a minute or so, but you never know. I'll monitor it until the candle closes, of course, and then decide if, for example, if here we stay above the resistance, I won't be opening a position, but here when actually, yeah, it just, you can see how it bounced from the previous bottom here on the M5 so far.
Yeah, so that's why we want to make a big webinar which is going to be during the whole day, so you'll have the opportunity to examine some proper positions that we are taking. Of course, sometimes there are periods that it's better to avoid trading instead of just taking positions just in order to trade, because if the formations on the chart are not appealing to your trading strategy, you could just suffer some unnecessary losses. And in let's say if the next period is going to be very appealing for your trading strategy, you need to conserve this energy and to hold the good mindset in order to be able to push them harder and to extract the maximum possible profit what you can expect from the future positions.
Okay, so the H1 candle just closed above. I'm not following the plan on the old NSD anymore. On the GBP, again, it's the pair became quite stagnant. So for now, I won't be taking any positions there. I don't know if we'll have a good opportunity later today, but even if we don't, I mean, there is always tomorrow.
Yep. That's the good thing about the trading.
Yeah. So basically, today what we've showed you is that although we couldn't back it up with positions,
Yeah.
we will do so on our next webinar. But the main point today was to tell you that you should always make a trading plan. You should always follow that trading plan. For beginner traders, it's perfect to follow an A to B trading plan since it's a lot easier, and most importantly to try and always follow the trend on the higher time frame. And that's it. I mean, those are some people who might say, okay, I know this. I mean, those are advices, you know, simple advices. It's
Yeah.
not something huge. It's not something huge, but I tend to see more and more people not creating trading plans or creating them just to not follow them after that.
Just
or
trading the noise or so.
or yeah,
which
trying
is,
to trade every move on the market, not focusing on a certain direction where the market is going. And believe me, the market doesn't give a fuck where what you want to open. It will go where it wants to go. So that's why it is always better to take that into an account. Follow the trend. Become profitable by following the trend, and then implement some other techniques like range trading or counter trend trading.
Here,
Let's
I
give
just,
5 minutes. You want to
I
add
just
something?
want
Yeah.
to add something that even though, as Ilian said, those are very simple techniques, what we managed to find about the markets, and of course, what all of the big traders are going to tell you is that as simple as possible, one trading strategy is, it's more probable to be profitable, because if you put a lot of, let's say, indicators, a lot of levels, and just try to implement everything that you know in just one trading plan, it won't work for sure, because you have thousands of signals, and actually you won't be able to take any decision of what you have to do, and when you have to enter, and of course when you have to close a certain position. So that's why we made this webinar like back to basics. Because after all, this is something which is very important. In my opinion, it's the most important thing on the market, and if you follow it, there is a high and maybe the highest opportunity to be profitable. And yeah, basically this is everything what I wanted to add.
So let's give 5 minutes to everyone watching. Maybe if they want to ask any questions. And that would be all for today. Of course, you can always send your questions to us through email, ask us on Facebook, write us in our website chat, whatever you decide.
We are basically everywhere, so we will answer as soon as we can and as quick as possible. Of course, we can give you some advices on some other sectors, like if you would like to trade shares, and maybe if you'd like to trade ETFs. The main reason why we are doing this webinar with the most popular securities is that because they're most known for all of the people, and due to the fact that this is back to basics, we wanted to be useful for the audience which is just starting to trade. Because if you're an experienced trader, we can just create a trading plan, or let's say an advices, especially for you and especially for your trading strategy. So don't be shy, ask your questions, and don't hesitate to give us hard questions and hard cases as well. We are going to try to give the best of us, and to give you an opinion on of what could happen for this trade, and what could be the forecast. Here, if Ilya wants to add something.
Nothing to add. I think we basically said enough today. Gave some information, although it's basic. We believe that it's quite important. Based on that information which we shared today, we will do the live trading session next week, probably again on Thursday. maybe even, or maybe Wednesday, we'll decide later on, but we'll update all of you on Facebook and other social medias. So the trading session, as we said, will be from the morning until late noon, so to say. And what we will do during it, we'll create several A to B trading plans on not very high time frames, because for example, if we are looking for an entry on the H4, we'll just wait for 2 candles and we won't see the development today.
Yeah.
But
Or we
again,
might not even see a trade. So.
yeah, we'll mainly focus probably on looking for entry points on M30, which would mean that we'll make some A to B trading plans on H1 or H4. We'll have a few graphs open, at least 6, and we'll monitor them closely during the day. We will share in the chat, in the live chat, when we're taking a position, or you'll be able to see it on the screens. As I said, the live trading session will have no sound, but you can always ask questions in the live chat on YouTube, and we'll monitor it closely and answer you immediately. So I think this is it for today.
Yeah.
Unless Valio has to say anything.
No, I said everything what I think was appealing for this session. If you want, again, ask us question, and we are going to make every video that you wish. We're going to, yeah. Basically, this is everything from us.
We can make educational videos,
yeah.
So on a topic you like or you want to learn more, and we are constantly doing our trading plan videos, so follow up on the trading plans, as most of them develop quite good actually, not to brag of course. But yeah, I think we are done for today. I hope you've learned something. I'm sorry we were not able to take more positions today, but as I said, we'll do that next week. So
thank you very much for watching.
We are DM Trading Bulgaria, and we hope we can help you.
And if you like this video, or if you like some of our other videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow the trading plans that we are posting every week. And of course, you can subscribe anyway because it's free, so who cares?
Thanks guys, bye bye for now.